Hi guys, Patty from Patty's Crafty Spot, and I'm here to share with you another design team project from Crealies. This one, let me walk you through first the dies that I used. So I used one of the new dies, and this is for cards, and this is the Xmas one. And I'll link everything down below for you on that. I also used from Parts the snowman, so that's this cute little guy hanging out right there. From the journals and planners dies, I used the medium pocket die. And from the big labels and tags, I used this die, and this is number 14 with the stitch line. And that's what I used for my tags. So let me just walk you through. So if you had seen my previous album, word album that I had made using the word happy, that opened all from this direction. So this one I decided to make a little different, and this one is more of a gatefold style. So let me just show you. So my cute little snowman right there, he's cut out with that die, and he's super cute and super fun to make. And then here is the Xmas die that I used. I cut up. At the end, I'll give you kind of a little walkthrough in how to set the gatefold style one up. So if you want to make one like this yourself, you can. So it opens up like this. So let me just see if I can, there you go. So you can see it. So for the journals and pocket medium die, these were a little too long for this areas right in here. So I did just angle and cut. I just laid it down, marked over where it could go. And then on the top, I just measured over 2 inches because 2 inches is a good distance on the top one. So I just measured over 2 and then cut at the angle that I had. So I went ahead and created some little tags to go right there. And then on the sheet that I used, the Christmas sheet, I had some little cutouts. So I used those just as little tag spots to hold some photos. So they're just glued down at the bottom. And then they open up. I did cut some more that matched. So I went like the size of this and then cut it down just a tad to make some little extra photo placeholders. So you can make as little or as many as you want on these ones. The only thing is just determining on how big the rings are you're using. I believe I have 2-inch rings. Let me see. 1 3/4 inches. I did have smaller rings on it, and then it just with all the ribbon and the extra layers I did have to go with some bigger rings. So I did that. And then just like on the happy, I did only glued in a U shape on my letters. So then that way I left an area for a cute little tuck spot. So I could do that. I did do that on the front, but because of the pictures and stuff, and there's not a whole lot of room, if you wanted to, depending on what you're doing, you could go ahead and add a small photo mat right there. So I did that. And then we open up again. So in the inside on this one here, I just went ahead and made a couple of pockets for tags. So you can use the pockets for tags, photo mats, or you don't even have to add them. You could just use this full area here, just like this, to just go ahead and add some photos. And then a nice little layout spread for more photos right there. And then as we go to the back, we get larger because of the gatefold style. So this is a 3x5 photo right here. So you can see we are getting a little bigger. The overall measurement of the page, the height is 4 inches. So if you were to do a 4x6 photo, it would definitely go top to bottom. But you could always crop that down too if you wanted to. And then I left this page here blank for photos as well. And then over here. And this, I did glue this one down, but I left this unattached just on the edge so you can go ahead and just slip your photo under. And because I wanted my tags to kind of look pretty from the front angle, I went ahead and added a center pocket right here with this little tag. And you can always put small little photos like right here and here on it. And then again, lots of room for photos. So you can see all that. And then on the back page, I went ahead and added 2 pockets with my little snowman family because I thought they were so cute and I wanted to incorporate them somehow in the album, and so they didn't always necessarily get covered up. So I just did a little fancy cutting and made it so that you could see the whole snow family. And then of course my tags, again with the super cute little snow family right there. Anyway, so I hope you like this. I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough on how to make your own. And I will be right back in a minute and I will show you that. So let's go ahead and get started on how to go ahead and assemble this. So you're going to need your larger die. This is basically the entire background of the word Xmas. You're going to need to cut a couple of these. So if you need a further walkthrough step, if you look at my happy album that I created, I actually walk you through going ahead and how to cut these out. But I didn't think, like, you know, it's pretty simple, but if you need more explanation, you can just go ahead and watch that video. And then you're going to need to cut your letters out of this shadow, this individual letter shadow. So that's what I did with the blue pieces, and my background I did in the green. And you're going to need to cut a couple of them just because, for example, the M and the A in the thing itself, it will overlap, and you want to have a nice full shadow layer around it. So you might have to cut a couple, and as you can see, like right here, if you were to, you're going to get a slight overhang. So just go ahead and do it a couple times and you'll get those out. So what you're going to want to do is, I cut my cardstock the exact same height of my letters, and because I'm going with a gatefold style, I'm going to start off, and my X is going to be all the way on this side right here. So let me just show you. Now I'm just gluing. This is just to keep it together to give you an idea how to do it. Normally what I would do is basically my glue is going to go in a U shape when I put my pattern paper on first, but it will go in a U shape. That way you can go ahead and create a pocket to go ahead and tuck under like I did here. But you do need to add your pattern paper first. So I would suggest just a light piece of tape or something just to hold it temporary because you don't want it permanent there. So my next piece, if I'm continuing on my gatefold style, is going to be my M. So as you can see, we're going like this. So now I need to work from the opposite direction because now I'm creating the other side of my gate. And because you're cutting your letters the same height as you're cutting your cardstock the same height as your letters, you can just use that to make sure you're squared off even. I did go ahead and leave the extra, unlike on the happy album, I cut the sides off. I decided to go ahead and leave it extra on here. And as you can see, kind of like right here on the A, that's why you definitely put your pattern paper on first. That way I get the pattern paper on the sides. So I just thought that would be pretty that way. And then the last one. So on the S, I'm making sure I am lined all the way up to the top and the bottom, and then all the way to the sides. So now that I have those, the next thing I need to do is going ahead for my back piece. So I'm keeping this the full length of my cardstock. I happen to just be using 8.5 by 11, but you can use 12 by 12 or whatever, or 12-inch length, or make it any length you want. But let me show you how I do this part now. So see how this is an 11-inch paper? I need to find my center, which will be right here, so 5.5. So I'm going to go ahead and make my marks, and then go ahead and make a pencil line. You're going to cover most of that all over with pattern paper. You may just have to erase the top, or don't go all the way. You just kind of need a little guideline. So there's my line. So on this, I'm going to go ahead and work backwards. So I'm using the edge of this to my line that I just made. And I'm just going to layer them down like this. So I have this right here, and then I need some clips. So let me just use paper clips. I don't have a second binder clip to show you. So basically what you're going to want to do is clip it down once you have it all squared off. And you can just go ahead and make sure you're even. So you have this. So now, as you can see, this is my back piece right here. Whoops, I just meant it. This is my back piece here. So when you go ahead and attach your letters, this is the back piece. You're not going to be able to go any further than this, just because of the length of your paper. If you needed to go further, you can always just lengthen your paper if you need to. But you can't go any layer on this one, unfortunately, because of that. So I would normally use my trimmer to get it even, but just for the video, I'm just going to whack it with scissors just to show you. So I have it like this. Then what I would do is go ahead and find my sides here to go ahead and add my holes. So for adding my holes, let me just walk you through again. What I do is I'm going to find my center, dry up, so I'm going to go up a 1/2 inch. And because my paper is 4 inches, obviously 2 on my center and ruler, so I'm up 1/2 inch from the edge, and it's going to be my first spot. And then I like to go 3/4 up from the top and 3/4 down from the bottom for my holes. And then I would just punch . So you see I have my holes. So if I were to put the rings on it now, see, it would just flip like this. And then the other side, you would just flip this way. So don't forget your holes on that side. But that's why you need to find your center so everything lines up to the center. And then you would just, if you want to go ahead and add more pages, I would just measure the distance of this one and take off maybe, I don't know, 1/8, 1/4 of an inch, depending, or you could go the same size. It's just depending on the rings, your pages underneath might start to show through, and I wanted to make sure like the Xmas was seen more. So I would just shave off just a little, just because of the rings. So just shave off a little if you're going ahead to add the more pages. But anyway, that's how you would go ahead and then just do this like a gatefold style. Alrighty, so anyway, I hope you enjoyed that quick little tutorial on how I made my little Xmas album. And if you have any questions, leave them down below. I would love it if you would go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And until next, oh, don't forget a thumbs up. And until next time, guys, happy crafting. Bye!